All right, guys. You guys want to blow up your back? Saw I blow my back up. You want a mass building back workout? Try this. You want bulging lats? You want Tyrannosaurus traps? You guys want lats like Dorian Yates with half the work and half fucking genetics? You want to figure out how to not work hard, get big? You want, this is the shortcut channel.
If you really want to take it back to like base levels of finding your rear delt, like you guys just are not getting it, there's like plenty of ways. Like it's how most of these movements originated is literally I lean on this bench here and I extend my arm as far as I can, right? I feel my rear delt pulling across my body. So I'm not leaning, I'm feeling it pulled across and I'm looking over my shoulder. So the pull is across now on my rear delt because I'm pushing out on the edge of this dumbbell. So I can hold on wherever I need to hold on. You can start rising out to belt line. So if I'm rising out in line with my belt line, I'm just pushing away towards you. But I'm not getting pulled over, my arm's getting pulled, and I sweep out on a stiff arm. And then I can change angle and throw it here. I can change angle, throw it here. But just if you're having trouble connecting, understand this tension is long in my arm. My tension's staying here. I'm just sweeping out towards belt line with a stiff line. So I want to feel this dead at the bottom, rock. Relax, rock. I don't want to start doing this. Everyone knows we can fucking throw 7 pounds, right? It's like, how can you control and make sure that that rear delt's the only thing moving, right? So if it takes you going back to doing exercises like that that are a little more physio-based or a little more like activation-based, it's not a detriment to you. It's just like, you have an understanding of how to do stuff because you've been doing it, you just haven't been doing it effectively. But once you start to feel it on the right spot, you're like, oh, fuck. Now that same feeling with that dumbbell, now I can grab a cable and I can feel it the same way. I know that I don't lean with the cable. I let my arm get pulled across the cable and I move just like I did here. The only difference on this one is that we keep a little more bent elbow on cable stuff just because we're trying to like get that rear delt to kind of grab. But you can do all these rear delt movements with straight arms. There's nothing stopping you. It's just you might find that as time goes on through the movement, that stiff arm might lead to this. Because I don't have any brace, I don't have any like kind of set down on the motion. I can't put weight down into my body and spread across because my arms are here and I might freak out, right? Especially because guys are always trying to fight for some range that they perceive to be what the range is. They don't understand that, like, if it only moves this far and you have to force it with all your might to make it move 2 inches more, it only needs to come to here. So just fall back in. Fall back in. Work within your range that your body's allowing you to move. Stop trying to force range that isn't there. Full range of motion is your full range of motion within the given movement. It is not full range of motion by definition of like, it has to move to here to go to here, like we've talked about 1,000 times, right? So if that's all you're able to muster when you're doing the work, especially if you're doing this dumbbell work where you're here, like if I'm hanging off here, and when you start to do this, you can only raise out to here. You can only get that rear delt to activate to there. That's okay. Because eventually in a week or two, it'll be like, oh, and then I'll have this connection to my arm, right? But we have to get this to be like, hey man, I need you to just work. I don't want to help from anything else. I don't want to go or lean over here and go. I just want to feel this go out on the very tip of my hand, like where my pinky knuckle is. Just push out, pull down, right? So you're gonna look like, God forbid you don't look strong, but you'll have rear delts and no one else will have rear delts. It's like literally a forgotten muscle in this world. Everyone wants like big delts from the front, they turn around, you're like, where's the rest of it? You know what I mean? It was like a different variation of, there's a million different variations of lateral raise. We fucking beat this to death, like fucking, it's just dead on the ground. We keep kicking it. But, yeah, it's fucking shoulders. But it's like, you can obviously do the way that I show coming around in front, but the thing is, if you guys, it's another thing that kind of carries over into bodybuilding more specifically, so tune out if you're not a bodybuilder. Whatever. But this understanding of like front relaxed, right? We talked about it in back training, we talked about this, flaring lats and being here. It's the same thing we do when we throw it here, but if we stay up a little taller and we stay in this front relaxed, My motion can feel like more away from me, and I can break elbow midline and I can rock up. So as you see when I lift up in the mirror, my rib cage, my sternum elevates. So I empty out here like I would be here or here. Any pose that forces me to lift my sternum, right? So I'm practicing my pose in my lift. And I'm understanding this like coming up through motion, rocking up shoulders the same way I would come up through a front double, right? Same way I would come up through a side chest. This understanding of lifting and setting and holding things up high and being able to engage muscles with chest lifted. If it's not a foreign concept to you when you're training, it won't be a foreign concept to you on stage, and you won't flatten out and die on stage. So all these guys that hit their shots on stage and they crunch down their ab and they do this, you can tell none of them have the projection. Because when they hold up this high, they lose all definition here. Because these muscles have never had to work much. Like intercostals, obliques, like abs, they've never had to stabilize much because they don't ever rise. I don't ever pull up on them. I don't ever squeeze on them. Everything is just, do you know what I mean? So if we want to practice, if you want to look better in the shot or you want to look better literally walking around and have more projection in your chest, you have to do exercises and move in a manner that allows you to stand with more projection in your chest. Like this is how I stand. Not that my chest is huge, but I don't, I mean, this is a lot of you. Like this, rolled forward, super developed upper back, shoulders forward, like that. But you can't stand like this. Like just project your chest forward. That's because all this has been done, all this has done work. I've bench pressed properly my whole life, most of it. You know what I mean? I've shoulder pressed the way I press, I've lateral raised up here. I'm always lifting this. So these muscles are engaged, the same with my back muscles, understanding we need to get him to be able to rise up or he's never gonna hold that. So it's a foreign concept to you guys when you get on stage and you have to do it. That's why you see a lot of shitty front lat spreads. These guys are pulling around and they're going here like boom, like this. They can't lift their sternum up. So they can't hold this position. It's all is this. Because they can't do that. Which is lifting, right? So if you guys are doing yourself a disservice because you're not practicing this ability to be able to like project or emanate weight up through something, right? You can get it more, like we said, from the front. I can throw here. My chest doesn't move as much, but it's just getting more delt isolation. If you're one of these guys without projection, get yourself wide here, start pushing away, up, up. So I'm almost hip thrusting this dumbbell to get this lift up. So I'm kicking hip back, kick hip up. Boom. For a lot of guys with shoulder problems too, that method of side lateral is usually alleviates a lot of that because it kind of gives your shoulder more of a base, more of a pocket to kind of sit in, so it's rising up with the body. It's not on its own where there could be like snapping or like, oh, I don't have the support of my body around me, right? So it's just something to think of. Try those variations for whatever your impediment is of your physique, right? Like if you're a guy who's super flat, like we said, not a lot of density in your core, you got to get this thing moving if you ever want it to develop. Because you just staying where you are and pushing heavier weights and doing shortened ranges of motion and fucking never opening up your ribcage, expanding, it's just going to be more of the same every time you step on stage. It's never going to change. Whoa. Fucking strong as shit. Edit that to say 60. That's the smallest 60-pound dumbbell I've ever seen. Really compact. You know what's amazing about what I just did with those laterals? It's literally the same motion. This is when you idiots put cuffs around your wrists. You're trying to emulate rocking, backing up, right? You need a fucking bench to do it. I just did it without it. So am I the most talented lifter ever? Might be. Look at that, things that can be done that aren't complicated. and don't require setup. I just literally did it. This is like another public service announcement to everybody out there, especially girls. Guys are super guilty of it too. They just talked about like laying back with bands on a fucking incline bench, throwing your off the cable. Like, one, the setup time for that is crazy. When I watch people setting that up, how long it takes them to find the right angle. It's like, just pick up a dumbbell, doofus. Like, do the fucking work with the dumbbell. Learn how to move in different ways. Stop trying to fucking make things easier. Things don't need to always be easier. If something's easier, it doesn't mean it's better. Right? And then it's not easier because the setup is fucking 3 times as difficult. I can walk over to the fucking dumbbell rack, pick up the dumbbells, do the set, put it down. I have to drag a bench across the fucking thing, find the cuffs, adjust the angles, and then fucking do too much weight, I'll put them both down, take the wrists off, take my cuffs out of the wrists out of the cuffs. It's like you guys, TikTok and Instagram and all the fucking clowns on it have convinced people that like, if something is more difficult to execute or more intricate to execute, it's better for you, which is so far from the truth, man. You guys have all been duped, and there's no clearer example than split squats. Split squats are fine to do, but they are not the end-all be-all grower of your leg, guys. And just because they're fancy and you gotta like, oh, I hold the dumbbell and I fucking put my foot up here and then I'm like, and I look like I'm fucking, or I hold one dumbbell and I go down really hard and I look like I'm really concentrating. I gotta take up 2 fucking benches, one for my foot, one for all my shit. And it's like, and you got what out of it? Go do a hack squat. Go do a regular squat. Like this independent, like, oh man, I gotta train my legs bilaterally. I gotta work on this and that. I have to have all this fucking hoopla to do an exercise. It's like, you could be out of the gym and on to growing, which is where you grow, outside the gym, not here. And you could be well on your way to recovering if you just fucking get through your goddamn workout and stop trying to act like you're fucking Bill Nye the Science Guy, fucking bringing up all these experiments in here. It's like the same shit. Like, you'll notice in my videos, I show different cues or whatever, but I'm using machines, aside from designer machines that are here, but they're still just basic movements that can be replicated on a cable. It's like, it's just like basic movements, but doing them better. Like rows, pulls, presses, dumbbell presses, machine presses. It's all the same shit, right? You guys all have this in your gym. Stop trying to make things so difficult. Like, there's a fucking Panada machine over there. It's like a bench press machine. It's got shoulder pads. You roll into shoulder pads, pull the bar down, and then you push. If that isn't the most asinine fucking thing I've ever seen. First of all, why would I want shoulder pads holding me into a bench press? I want to be able to move my body. I want to be able to exert force upward or down on my traps. I'm not pushing up the bench every time I push the weight. I'm rolling my chest up and pushing, right? You guys don't understand mechanics of movement. It's just like, how can we make this so stupid people get it? It's sitting here, you won't slide anymore. You don't need those bands on the bench. We got you covered. We got shoulder pads. And like, everyone who uses like, oh, it's got a really good contraction. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You've never had a good chest bump in your life. You're fucking lost. Just because it's new and it looks fancy, you're like, this is so much better. So much better. It's like gym Leco equipment. Fucking, let's fucking do this. Don't you do it, kid that never gets better. Edit it.
I think what, add more?
Yeah, just AI like 3 more plates on that. Oh.
It's coming. That is coming too.
Oh God, Jesus Christ. It's a little dangerous to set up. Huh? Well, now it's too fucking light. Let me just see if it doesn't suck. Maybe I was on high the other day. It's pretty fucking good. That's fucking crazy.
Why is that good?
Let me put heavier weight on. I gotta test this out. You're seeing research and development live in living color right here. So I'll tell you why this is good.
Tell us why.
And why it's better than why it's better than using these stupid fucking handles. One, these handles over rotate and they don't keep you on a fixed line. So you can pull them as far as you fucking want. That's why you see all these guys leaning over, fucking yanking this thing down to the fucking floor, because the axis of rotation is way the fuck out there, right? So there's no limit to how low as it can go. It's not gonna hit anything, right? So we're limiting the range on this. There's another machine over there that's like this, but the angle's fucking shit because it comes from above and down around. So it comes from behind you and forward, right? This is gonna help people understand when they do a lat pull down on a cable. The idea of a lat pull down on a cable, not all the time, but most of the time, is to be in a stagnant position. So my head's behind the bar, I'm not really leaning back, but I'm pulling away and tucking into lat as I come down. So my head is behind the bar if I'm on a cable. As I pull, my head drifts back and I drive elbows down to lats. Lats reach up, pull down, right? So if I can create something where I can create even more of a forward angle and pitch myself forward so I don't even have to fall back that much to elicit contraction, this is this. And we discovered this by making fun of it. Okay? I don't fucking condone this. So don't say I told you to do it if it goes wrong for you. But if you just hang the bar in the fucking grips of this, make sure they're open as wide as they should be, not over wide. And I can sit here. I can now stabilize across a line and I can set into my lat. So now I can lean forward, and when I go to pull, my head's behind and I'm rocking into lat right in. So this is a pull down, where it should end up if it was above me. But now I'm tucking into lat and pushing lat out through here and I can relax. So I can get full stretch because lats are tucked in, elbows tucked down. I'm not here, I'm here, and I can lean back and drag into lat and then pull back out. So the pull out is even just as good as the pull in. As long as I keep my weight up and back, I don't let my head fall. I'm not whipping head back and pulling. My head stays stiff back here. My hands go in front and I rock underneath my chin. So my head position doesn't change. My head's here the whole time. My head's here. So when I pull, I'm gonna tuck these lats in a bit. I'm gonna slide as deep as I can to that hold and then rock out. So don't over rotate and don't lean back. Keep the angle you're on and just slide straight into you. Fuck, that's fucking awesome. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not fucking kidding, by the way. Everyone's gonna think I'm fucking with them.
You're not fucking with it.
That's good. It's very good.